Ahoy, hoy. Welcome to the DCL show, the show where we help you navigate the waters of Disney Cruise Line. I am your captain, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by my co-captains, including Captain Elaine Edwards of Dreams Unlimited Travel.
Hey, friends.
We have Captain Chris Vorbeck of Dreams Unlimited Travel.
Hi.
And we have Captain Jackie Gailey of DCLFan.com.
Hi there.
Hello, everyone. We have another great show for you today. This time we're talking about cruising mistakes, but cruising mistakes that we've personally made. So we're going to lay it all out there, the embarrassing things we've done, and tell us we did it wrong. We can take it. We're prepared. We mentally prepared for this. It's going to be okay. You know what's not okay? If you don't book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content, free, no obligation quote. Okay, mistakes. We've all made them. Who of this group would like to discuss your big mistake first?
Well, it's the mistake that you made is thinking that I only have one mistake because I wrote down like 5. So
I love it.
The first one that is like, I tell this to every single client that says something to me about, I think I'm going to have motion sickness or something like that, is that, there are lots of over-the-counter remedies that you could take before you come on your cruise. I'm not actually one that traditionally before ever got any kind of motion sickness, or anything like that. But there was a cruise on the Dream that we went through a storm, and I was like watching the towels go back and forth and I was not feeling great. So I went down to the deck 1 where the infirmary is, and outside there is a wall pocket full of seasick pills. And so you can just come and you can load up on them. And inside the packet, there's 2 pills. Do not take both of the pills. Only take one. My mistake is I took both of them. And they then got off the ship and went to Castaway Cay. And I definitely fell asleep in the water at Castaway Cay and could not keep my eyes open the entire day. Like, I was like a walking zombie. I was asleep, could not keep my eyes open, was not functioning properly. 1 pill is all you need. Do not take 2. They're teeny tiny little ones too that they offer, and they are very powerful. Do not take both, or you are sleeping in the sand and getting sunburned.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't get motion sickness, so I haven't had that problem yet. I know it'll probably sneak up on me one day, but I feel like I've been through some intense moments, and it usually just like, it feels natural for me. So I'm glad I don't have to go through that, but I hope you had a good nap.
Well, I'm lucky I don't get motion sickness either, thank goodness. But I have family members who do, and the recommendation is stay ahead of it. And if you want to, before you go see your doctor, they'll give you the patches behind your ear. Those are basically don't put you out, from what I can tell. So they're a lot easier. You have to constantly change them and wear them and stuff, but it makes it much easier. So if you're at all concerned about that, think about it early. Don't get behind the curve on that, because
and start them early.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Is those patches a couple days, and even if you just plan on taking like 1 Dramamine a day, start them a couple days before you get on the ship. That way it's all in your system and it's working, and you know you're not going to have a problem, because usually it is that first night that is the roughest, because you're trying to get out to sea. So that's usually when people have problems, is that first night. So.
And if you're not the kind of person that wants to ingest something, because sometimes depending on different prescriptions that you might be taking, you might not want to ingest something. They make these things called C-bands, and they look like they're a cloth kind of bracelet that has a pressure point little thing on it, and you put it on your wrist and it hits that pressure point. Kind of looks like one of those grounding bracelets that electricians might wear if they're at a workbench. But those are really cool, and they sell them. I got a pair of them on Amazon. So if you're really nervous about it, you can wear both of them, or just one. So just another little suggestion about that too, just in case you don't want to take pills.
And that's non-medical, so you can take that and also take a pill if you want. If you want to kind of double up and get on top of it, that's kind of, the bands are holistic, and they make nice ones too. If you just Google where they are, they make nice ones that kind of look like bracelets, but accomplish the same thing. So there's a lot of options out there.
Very good. Who else made a mistake? I know I've made some, but Chris, what's a mistake you've made?
So I did it. Thankfully, it wasn't me, but it was a trip that I was planning with folks, and I did what I'm going to call the Craig mistake. And we did not bring all of our passports, and so we get to the. Luckily, we flew down the day before, so I've never been more thankful for FedEx in my life. We had to have somebody go into the house, get the passport, ship it down to us, and it worked out fine. But there was a lot of nervousness around that. And I always tell people, check and make sure you have that documentation before in general, everything else is fixable. If you don't have your documentation to get on board, that's the one thing that Disney Cruise Line will turn you away. And you don't want to be left in that spot. So it's really stressful and not fun. So pull all that stuff together, put it in like a Ziploc bag, and put it in your carry-on luggage early, so you don't forget it.
That it is my mistake, and I will never be able to live that down. But now neither can you. So you almost screwed up too.
It's not fun, right? It's not fun.
No, it's just the most stressful thing in the world, and it just eats you alive, and that's the last thing you want to do right before you leave on what should be a very relaxing vacation. But Jackie, what's a mistake you've made?
So one of the we've made a few actually, but one of the ones that I wouldn't want anyone else to make is not bringing something waterproof to put your cell phone in that you can throw around your neck and get into the water with. So you see pictures of the ship, especially from Castaway Cay, where they're taken from people that are in the water already. And the last thing you want to do is be at the beach and not have a waterproof way to take your cell phone into the water with you. And you don't want to have to be holding it. You really want something that goes around your neck. They have these great little pouches that fit the big cell phones. You just stick it right in there, and you've got your swimsuit on, and you throw that around your neck, and you're good to go. You can take some really great shots from out in the water, and it's just a really cool memory, not only of the ship, but if you're out, on the any of the adult beaches, the beach that the family beach, the one with the cabanas, either any of those, it's really fun to take a photo from the water. So you don't want to miss out on that opportunity to be able to do that. So don't forget to get those in plenty of time for your cruise, because we didn't the first time and I was very mad about it. So
it's a great tip. Absolutely. I'm going to share my first one now, and I want to watch how I say this as I'm trying to mentally prepare myself, because I don't want to sound difficult with it. But the one thing I'll say about Disney Cruise Line is it's not a cheap vacation by any means, even if you were able to get your stateroom at what you feel like is a good price. It's not cheap by any means. So don't be afraid to make yourself make yourself like be as vocal as possible when it comes to everyone that you talk to on Disney Cruise Line. Elaine talks about it in the embarkation episode of how important it is to establish that great relationship with your room attendant, state room attendant right away, because it can really make or break it. But I think it's even more important in the dining rooms. Personally, I've had dining room servers and dining room staff that have either made the vacation incredible or made it like absolutely terrible by not really knowing how to pace a meal. Like there was one cruise where the wait staff, they weren't quite getting that we wanted to be in and out as quickly as possible. And it's almost like they used it against us and would make sure every meal was drug out to like 2.5 to 3 hours. And it's like, no, I don't want to spend that long eating. It's not the Titanic where there isn't like great entertainment happening around or trivia, things like that. I don't want to spend all night just dining. It's not Paulo. It's rotational dining. I like being as quick as possible with it, because as much as I enjoy the experience, I don't want my night to be all about food. I don't like Disney Cruise Line vacations that are just feel like you're eating nonstop and it's just taking forever. So don't be afraid to like speak up and be like, if the servers around you, if you feel like they are making your meal service go too slow or too fast, just like speak up and say it. And if they don't quite get it, just like keep reinforcing it. If the head server comes around and you're lucky enough to see them more than just once on your cruise, also speak up to them about it, because the last thing you want to do is have your entire cruise ruined by not like trying to actually say what your needs are. They will be incredible in so many ways. They'll memorize your drink order. They'll know what you want. They'll be able to make great recommendations based on what you had the night before. But with stuff like the speed of the service and pacing of the entire meal, they can't figure that out unless you actually say something. So don't be afraid to speak up, but also do it politely.
Do it politely. But also one of the things that I kind of bugs me is your servers will come and they will tell you about the fill out form, how they all want to be marked as excellent, and it's very important, and I get it, but sometimes they almost make you feel guilty if you don't. And I tell them, you do an excellent job. I'm going to say excellent, but I don't want to be badgered about it. And it's a similar kind of thing where I'm telling you up front, I'm going to give you a good review. Great review, excellent review, but I just don't want to feel guilty about it.
Yeah, it's that's I didn't spend all that money to have to get on a cruise and then feel guilty about every decision that I make. What a relaxing vacation. But Elaine, you have a long list. What's next on yours?
So the next one is showing up 5 to 10 minutes before a onboard activity and thinking that I was early. Some of these activities fill up very quickly. Some of them are very popular, and they will run out of room. They'll run out of space. They'll run out of materials, whatever. Things like trivia. If you want to sit and actually be in the room, you want to show up early. Bingo. As soon as they say, they'll say bingo starts at 6 p.m., but the on sale time is 5 p.m. That means you want to be in line at like 4:30 so that you can actually get a card when it goes on sale early and then find a place to sit, because it's just, these things fill up. The one that on the Wish, we were trying to go to Match Your Mate. We got there, I think 20 minutes before it was scheduled to start. And we were like up in the top in like a back corner where we couldn't actually even see anything. I think for that, you have to be there like an hour ahead of time. So just know that some of these very popular activities don't show up at the start time. You're going to have to show up way early if you actually want to take advantage of them.
That's kind of a rookie mistake too, Elaine. That's a good point, because don't make the mistake of not playing bingo.
Jackie
taught me all about it.
until I took her to go play bingo. And she's like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I do not go on a cruise without playing bingo.
Oh, yeah. Don't make that mistake, because that is some really big fun. Really big fun. Don't miss it. I mean, that was my 12th cruise. So I had gone on 11 cruises and never played bingo.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah, don't make that rookie mistake.
I mean, I've never played bingo on any ship, but I also am the type of person, I can't spend money knowing that I won't get something in return. So even though I might spend a couple $100 on my refillable beer mug while I'm on DCL, at least I'm getting something from that. I can't go and just drop money on bingo and not win and be like, okay, I just wasted my time and money. So it's not for me.
So
I don't
you
gamble.
need you want the tangible thing.
Exactly.
You don't want to spend money on the experience. You want something that's tangible to walk away with.
Well, I'll spend money on an experience, but I don't consider throwing money down in playing bingo. I don't think you're getting anything from that. I'll put that money towards seeing something when you're in a port and being like, wow, I will remember that for the rest of my life. I don't want the thing I remember for the rest of my life to be like, remember that time I spent all that money on bingo and got nothing out of it? That was great. But again, I don't gamble. I'm not judging anyone out there who does. I guess bingo's not necessarily gambling, but I mean, it kind of is at the same time. It's in there. You're gambling whether or not you'll win. And most likely you won't. So have fun with that. Have fun with your bingo. Enjoy it.
I'm so hung up on bingo because when I was 6, my parents took me on we never went on any kind of cruise except for this one time when I was 6, and it was like a day cruise. So it was like a full on cruise ship, but we were just out one day, and they had bingo, and I played bingo with my mom, and I won $50. And ever since then, that's what's got me hung up on playing bingos, because I won. So
listen, I love that story. It's a great story, but I can't support you in this, and I won't. Chris, what's another mistake you have?
I mentioned this on another cruise, another show of ours, but I get burned easily. I have that Irish skin that just doesn't, and I wasn't lathering enough, and I got fried. And it was the first day. And so then the entire time, I got burned so badly, like I couldn't even go in the sun. So I couldn't go in the pools. Saw me hiding out in dark spaces on the ship. They probably thought I was some creepy person, but just, the sun down in the Caribbean is strong. Be prepared for that. Lather early, lather often, lather regularly. And make sure you're covered up. And I wear a hat. As you can see, I'm hair impaired. So, wear a hat, make sure you prepare for that. So
I totally get it. I'm right there with you. Jackie, do you have another mistake?
I do. I'm trying to think of which one I want to share. So for our 25th wedding anniversary, we thought we would take a 7-night cruise. And I had already been on a couple of cruises, but it was my husband's very first cruise ever, Disney Cruise Line or otherwise. And even though it wasn't my first cruise, it was still a rookie mistake to book a 7-night cruise as a first cruise for my husband. And the reason why is because if you have never been on a cruise before, 7 nights is a long time. So if you're on a cruise ship and you're feeling, maybe you didn't have the right things with you to avoid some motion sickness, or maybe you're, feeling kind of trapped in or something like that. I would recommend and encourage people to try a 3-night cruise first as their very first cruise. and see how you're feeling about it. Make sure that you're good with being on the ship for 7 nights, or that you're good, that you feel like you're going to just love that for 7 nights before you jump in and do a 7-night cruise. So I, of course, had the very best time and I had moved past the knowing better than to schedule, more than one thing a day, where I learned later that even one thing a day might be a little too much because sometimes you just want to lounge. But yeah, I would say make it a 3 or 4 night cruise as your first cruise to get your feet wet, and then go from there.
I know that probably Elaine will disagree with me. I'm not sure about Chris, but I am totally against the people who say, oh, if you're not booking a 4-night cruise right away, then you're doing it wrong. No, for me, 3 nights would have been perfect for my first cruise. For many cruises I take, 3 nights is enough. I don't need the day at sea. It's one of those things. I don't need to be out there longer. I think a 3-day cruise is plenty fine and perfect for first timers, and then add up as you're going. If you want to get adventurous, take the 4-night after that. If there's a 5-night cruise, dip into that. Just don't jump to 7 right away. Really build up to see if you like it. I mean, if you get on a 3-night and you immediately love it, yeah, you can go crazy from there. Do the 4, do the 5, do the 7, do a transatlantic, do whatever you want. But I just, even that extra night as a first one, I feel like for some people it could be a turnoff, because not everyone is able to just shut down and relax. For some people, that day at sea might just be the most boring thing in the world, especially if you do a Bahamas cruise where you don't want to get off at Nassau. You look at it and you're like, nope, pass. All of a sudden you basically do have 2 sea days and a castaway day, and that might not be great. So I think, I think 3's solid.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that you don't get a second chance to go on your very first cruise again. And so if other people that might be like my husband, I'm sure there's probably plenty. Once you go on that 7-night cruise, and if it felt too long for you, that sticks with you. So you don't get a chance to redo that. And like Craig said, if you are on that 7-nighter and you don't get off in Nassau, yeah, it's like you have 2 at sea days. And it's can be a lot for people who aren't so excited about that. And you don't get that first chance again. So yeah.
Well, yeah. I like what you said there, Jackie. You don't get a second chance at a first chance. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, no,
it's
perfect
I agree,
advice.
Craig, I agree. It's not, most of the cruises that I've done have been longer because I love cruising, but there's something lovely. I mean, the cruises on the Wish, the 3-day cruises on the Wish, they leave on Friday, they come back Monday. What a great way to spend a weekend. And as I say, it's not what I do, but if that's the time you have, if that's, if you're new to cruising, it's a great 3 or 4 night is a great way to dip your toe in the water, so to speak.
That's how I feel. I'm going to share the final mistake for this episode. And this is one that Elaine can probably tag team on with me here because we are together for this. I will fully admit I've never been that person that you see running on the dock to catch the ship when it's already starting to pull away and they're not getting on anyways. That's the best part of, following cruise content on social media, is always seeing those videos. I've never been in that position, but when we were in Alaska last year, we were 1000% the last guests to get back on board. There was still some new crew members getting on board that were after us, but we were the very last guests to get back on the ship, and we still had like an extra 10 minutes to spare. So we weren't in a scary position, but the looks that we got it was like penetrating my soul. Like 10 minutes, no, you had 10 minutes, but you're already late. We waited for you when they didn't at all. And you don't want to put yourself in that position of potentially missing the ship and then having to figure out how you move on with your life. But even then, like, if everything's rolling, if people get back on, that starts to make the ship be able to, get through their process and get out of there on time and make sure that they stick to their schedule. Just don't be in that position. It was so uncomfortable, and we were able to laugh about it, but I hated every second of it. But we got more time in Ketchikan, and that was also pretty swell.
I loved every second of it because it was so much fun. I mean, we had a great afternoon in Ketchikan, me and Craig and Rhino. I mean, I thought it was a great afternoon. I had a wonderful time. And we were getting back to the ship. We knew we had time. The sun was setting. We got some amazing pictures of the sunset, right? And we got some good pictures just of the ship itself. And we were literally next to the ship, but we were taking pictures and that kind of thing. And it was a good old time, but they were not happy about it. I had a great time. I was laughing and giggling the whole time. They were not happy about it. And I will tell you, it must be something with that Alaska crew, because I have a friend that sailed Alaska recently, and he was maybe, I can't remember exactly how far out he was, maybe an hour before the all aboard time. And they started calling his cell phone and asking like, are you coming back? We need you back on the ship. And he's like, no, all aboard's not for an hour. Like, I have time. They sent out a van looking for him, and they tracked him down and made him get in the van and come back to the ship, even though it's day before the posted time. So yeah, they don't want you staying until the time they have posted. That's for sure.
We were late once, but we were on one of the excursions, and so it's a tip that if you do a Disney excursion, if it's late, they'll hold the ship for you. If you're out on your own excursion, make sure you're there before that time. But I was all nervous, but they seemed fine with it because it wasn't our fault. So
yeah. I can't think of a more wild way to end this episode than that. But Elaine, I love that you came in with that story, because that is truly one of the most insane things I have ever heard. And I feel terrible for that person. But, it's in the past. And until they think about doing another Alaska cruise in the future and remembering, oh, yeah, that time I got badgered for not being on the ship an hour ahead of time leaving the port. But oh, funny stuff. This has been a great episode. We've covered a lot of mistakes we've made. I know we've made many more, and I'm sure we'll have future episodes talking all about that. But that's it. We are at the end of this voyage in this episode. So if you do want to support us more, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Elaine, how can they book a vacation with you?
You can shoot me an email. It's Elaine, ELAINE @dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
And Chris, what about you?
I'm Chris V at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. All the Dreams agents are awesome. There is a Chris at Dreams Unlimited Travel. I'm Chris V at Dreams Unlimited Travel.
Yeah. And if you really screw up, you might hit Kristen at Dreams Unlimited Travel
Exactly.
too. So we like to keep everything, just slightly confusing, but all great agents. And if you want more information on Disney Cruise Line besides these shows, you can always head over to dclfan.com, where Jackie does incredible work writing articles. So thank you for all your hard work, Jackie.
Aw, thanks. Thank you. I live for Disney Cruise Line.
And it shows. It does show.
I live it.
So that's going to do it, though. Again, support Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you were watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, leave comments, questions, video suggestions in the comments section. And when you can leave us ratings and reviews through podcast platforms. If you listen to the podcast, please do that, and subscribe to podcasts, to this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts too. It's always helpful for us. But we've reached the end of this voyage. As I said before, thank you so much to the panel for having this fun conversation. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening and watching. We'll see you again real soon with another sailing of the DCL show. But remember, you can't go to Castaway Cay without Disney Cruise Line.